All right, here we go. We have Rexdale-based legend in the building, Pilla B. How are you doing today?
I'm alright, brother. How are you?
Doing alright. Thank you for coming by to the Lens of Yashu for the very first time. You know, like, been a big fan of like the music so far. You know, just like with the music, just with the production, the sounds, and the lyricism and everything else too. You know, live from the gutter. You know, you ain't outside. You know, scholarships. You know, and then also like 2 of those you just recently dropped too, and then I think Coach, like the Coach song too. You know, like
Coach B, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's been great, and you know, just like. You know, even like the first song I've heard, you know, before, you know, Big Chopper, you know, it was a very like legendary song that I've heard, you know, like maybe like years back, you know, with King Louie, like that vibe was like amazing, you know.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Yeah. So, you know, I want to get into your like story for a bit too, you know. So, you grew up in Rexdale, that's correct?
I grew up, yeah. Some of my years I spent in Rexdale, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, like, was it a big place at the time for music?
Honestly, when I grew up in Rexdale, man, I wasn't even really paying attention to music. I was just running around causing trouble, like getting into this and that. You know what I'm saying? When I moved to Brampton and met up with Dubz, certain niggas like Grinzo, Illy, Payback. I met them in Brampton. I heard about them in Rexdale, but I met them in Brampton, and that's kind of when I really started like taking my music shit serious, I would say, or even like getting interested in music. Like I heard these guys rapping, and then I was like, oh shit, okay, maybe I could do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like a lot of like legends like right there too. You know, like Jellestone. You know, like I've heard like from the Jellestone intro, and like even from the Paris like little
shout out Jelly
too. Yeah, and like even there was like maybe like even like Nav too, if we could say that too. I don't know if he was like Rexdale like that back then, or if he was just like around the block for a bit.
Who, Nav?
Yeah.
Honestly, I still have no clue, but that's the word. So like, congratulations. Like, you know, I appreciate what he does for himself and his camp, but I have no clue. I wouldn't be able to tell you.
No. And you know, like growing up too, like what were you like, you know, from birth until like the start of like adulthood? You know, like I know you said like you had like some troubles like before in the past too, but like from like being a kid till now, like.
Honestly, I feel like I was a good kid. I love French. I was always very good in school. I didn't really cause trouble, like regular trouble, you know, like regular kid shit. It wasn't like nothing off the wall. My aunt died. Me and her were really close. It kind of took a toll on me. That's when I moved to Brampton. So then I moved to Brampton, and then I started getting into like different kind of trouble, smoking weed, hanging out with the man. You know, like that's really kind of where I started my delinquent phase, I guess you would call it. So, yeah, it was more when I got to Brampton. When I was in Rexdale, I was like 11, 12, like 10, 11, 12, snot nose, playing video games more times. Like Saturday, like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I remember playing in the crib and shit.
Yeah. And like a lot of people like, nowadays too, you know, like they have like different like heritages like back then, like based on like different households and all that. So I don't know like how like your household was like back then. Like I don't know if it was, you know, like more of a Caribbean, like, you know.
Yeah, Caribbean. My family's Jamaican. My mother's Jamaican, like my grandmother, and my father's Guyanese, so it's just Caribbean all over.
And no, it's just like interesting too, you know, like with Rexdale, like it has like a lot of like cultures alike.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very cultured neighborhood. It's not, there's no lack of culture. It's a lot of people from islands, whether it be any continent, Africa, there's Somali people, all that, the whole African umbrella. Then we have the Caribbean umbrella, West Indian, East Indian.
Yeah. So definitely, man. And you know, like when you started like music, like what was like your background in history, like in terms of music, and like which artists or genres were you mainly like influenced by?
When I started making music, it wasn't even a hobby. I used to want to battle rap. I was like on some battle rap shit. Remember King of the Dot? Okay, so I was like, we could do that. Like that shit's crazy, you know. And then I used to be rapping to nobody, rapping in the mirror and shit, just rapping. And then one of my homies, Grinzo, shout out Grinzo, he's like, yo, wait, you honestly got to take it to the studio. You honestly got to go to the studio and like try something else, like elevate your craft, you know. And I did, and I really enjoyed it, you know. So.
And like, what would you say was like the first like music that you like, the first song or like the first project you ever like listened to, like when you got like into music and all that?
First project I listened to one more time?
Like what was like the first song or like first project that you like ever like listened to like when you were like first like introduced to music?
When I was introduced to music, man, I was so wide range in music. I was listening to Tupac, the Backstreet Boys. Remember Backstreet Boys were hitting like you know what I'm talking about, that back streets back yo, those niggas is hitting. I was listening to B.I.G. A lot of old school shit, like a lot of old school shit. Aaliyah was hitting that time. R. Kelly was hitting. Like a lot of groovy shit. It wasn't really a lot of hardcore rap back then. Like, well, it wasn't as like predominant. It was more of a soulful R&B vibe, I feel like.
No, definitely. And you know, like when you first started out with music, you know, like you were working with like young Dubz, like Moula, Paris. But like even like back then, like how did you meet and gain like those friendships like with those?
Okay, well, Dubz is my brother from another. That's like my fuck, man. I don't even know what to say. That's my bro. Like that's my bro. So everywhere he went, I went, right? And you know, you meet friends based off of your friends' friends, right? So like I already done moved out the hood. Dubz was still in and out of the hood, so I came back, and then that's how I met Pyrex. Pyrex's flow was crazy. Every time me and Pyrex go on a joint, it's a bona fide banger. Ever since, same old niggas. So we just took a chance and let it rock. Moula's always been Moula. You know, he has a very dominating personality, and I like, you know, when you're on his side, it's fun. Like when you're on Moula's team, it's fun. If you're not on his team, it's fun.
Now, like I've noticed, like you know, with Moula, you know, like he has an interesting like style like that. You know, like with him comparing himself to like Michael Jordan, you know, with Michael's back and all that. Like even with the amount of like music he's dropped. Like was he also like that back then too? Like just with that energy?
I would say his confidence is a lot higher now, but he always knew he was the shit. Like, you know, he always had that personality about him. You know, he was one of the first out of everybody to be rapping. Realistically, like out of everybody on this side, on that side, he was one of the first people to be rapping. So of course he has a certain belief in himself. You know what I mean? Because without him, who knows what we would be doing right now?
And, you know, like it's been consistent so far with the music. I could definitely say that he's probably like one of the more consistent artists like in the scene like right now, just dropping song after song, project after project, and you know, hopefully it'll like manifest into like something.
I mean, I feel like it's gonna happen for everybody. It's just a matter of when, and what do you want for yourself, right? What kind of picture are you trying to paint? I feel like everybody's gonna get a chance to be seen and heard and be on that platform, you know. But it's just, what do you want for yourself? When you get there, like, what are you gonna do with it, you know?
And you know, like when you worked with young Dubz, like I remember like those first two projects that you've had, like 6 a.m. and then also the Soda Files.
Yeah.
So like I think the Soda Files you can actually find that on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud, yeah.
And then 6 a.m. You know.
6 a.m. is on all streaming platforms, yeah.
So like, what was like the inspiration and like creative process like when were?
It was so easy, bro, because like Dubz was the other half of the verse. Like we work on the hook together. Either I'm gonna sing that shit, he's gonna sing that shit. He's gonna drop a verse and I'm gonna drop a verse. It was the easiest thing. And like, if I didn't have an idea, he had one. If he didn't have an idea, I had one. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. Like it was really like it was the easiest time for me. I feel like now it's a lot harder for me to conjure up certain things, like to go in to get on a second verse. That wasn't really my style. Like 2 verses, I'm just called Dubz. Like Dubz is gonna knock this shit out. So.
Like I remembered, like you know, like I was listening to 6 a.m. back then, and like one of my favorite songs on there was like Up to Something, because it kind of had like a little like drill type sound, like you know, like early drill, but then like it had like this sound that was like kind of similar to like the Baby song. I think in the first song, like the intro song, like on the Baby on Baby project.
Okay.
So it kind of like reminded me of something like that with more of an electric like twist and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Up to Something was a crazy track. I feel like I was in a different bag. More of a comfortable bag, I think. Like, I feel like it was, music was just flowing, and I wasn't really thinking about what I was saying or whatever the case may be. And like, sometimes that's good, but lately I feel like I've been more thoughtful towards what I'm putting out, my content, what I want people to perceive about me, or, you know, or like how I want people to feel when they listen to my music. I feel like that matters more than just putting out a record to me now, you know?
No doubt. And you know, like back then, like in social media, you know, like it was kind of different like before as it was like now, because you don't have like IG Live or like live stories back then, or like, you know, Twitter as much too. Like it was kind of like more
It was literally more of a social media platform. It wasn't a promotion platform.
And like like young Dubz back then, I don't know if he had like IG live back then. Like I don't know if he was exposing himself like that, but like because like we never knew like like a lot of artists like that passed away like even before social media. So like knowing that you've had like this big friendship with like young Dubz, what was he like outside of like music, and how did you react when you found out like he passed away?
Oh shit! When he passed away, I was right there. Like that was horrible, right? Who he was before, like when we were in the studio, caring, funny, like that was my brother. Like I never really wanted for anything. Like he always had my back, was in my corner. We're the best of friends. Like we didn't really have to speak for us to understand each other. Like but he's always a lot nicer than people would believe. But at the same time, like your meanest friends are your best friends, right? So he's always keep it real with you and shit like that.
Like just like noticing him in a sense too. Like I guess like he was like a very like kind-hearted like person to like a lot of people. Like going out or just like even like in the block and all that. Like he would like care with the kids and all that.
Yeah, he was really a caring person. Like he wouldn't put that off for people to see, but behind closed doors, he was very caring. Like he cared more than a lot of people, to be honest.
And like nowadays too, like this is like kind of like a different subject right now, but like usually in some cases like people who may not like a certain person and all that, like if they're like artists and all that, they'll like disrespect them like in a song and all that. Like in a sense too, like it could happen to like FBG Duck, it could happen to like someone that you may know. Like I don't want to like say names or songs like that.
No, it definitely happens.
Yeah. But like, how do you feel about like this whole aspect of like dissing the dead or like smoking on the dead?
Shit, man. Honestly, how I feel about it is people are gonna do what the fuck they want to do, right? And nobody likes when it's them, when it's happening to them. But I don't even try to. I don't call people's names in the record. Like if you ever hear me calling a nigga's name in my record, I'm correctly right now, cause like, but that's not my drip, But I mean, to each his own, right? But again, like, I don't think it's... I mean, okay, if you personally, or like, your dogs or whatever, you guys got that nigga, then all right, cool, y'all got it. But like, a lot of people call people's names in records and they have nothing to do with anything to do with that person. Probably never even seen that person. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's just a lot of fabrication. And it's like, bro, at least keep it real if you're gonna name drop. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, who am I? Like that's what the narrative is right now. So,
do you feel like it might like come to an end soon? Like I do feel like in some sense too, like like a lot of people are like hurt like based on those songs too. Like if like a family like member like listens to like a person who's already dead and like someone like name drops them like disrespectfully. Do you feel like in that sense too, you think it might like come to an end, like if it affects like families and all that type of stuff?
I mean, well, it just depends because like some people take that shit to heart, right? Some people take it different than other people. So like, I can't say that it will go this way or that way. But like for me, I have to live for my dead homies. I can't throw away my life, throw rocks at the penitentiary because niggas are calling my niggas' names in a song. Like I can't do that to myself. Then I believe in my heart that anybody that loved me or respected me would want me to live for them, not die for them, not throw away my life for them, not give up or give in to what this is. Like that's just stupid to me. I feel like we're supposed to beat it. We're supposed to win, right? So.
No doubt. I want to get back into like this whole like come up with your music. So like when you started like making music, you linked up with 40 and the OVO team, and like I've been researching like the music a lot. You've worked with Harley like on one of my favorite songs too, like Live from the Gutter and all that, and then Gadget, who's like also like an engineer for Drake and everyone else too. So how did that like come about? What was
Gadget was a fluke. We're in the studio cooking, and he heard some of my shit. He's like, I have to touch it. Like, let me touch it, please. He's asking like, I was like, no fucking way, like Gadget, bro. That's great. Harley's the GOAT. Like me and Harley been working since like he was baby Harley. Now he's like level 100 Harley, you know what I'm saying? So I'm happy that I can be part of that journey to even just like provide some energy to that situation,
And what advice did like 40 or like all the others like gave you like, and how did it like implement into your music like right now?
The music is subjective, was what I was always taught. They have to fuck with you. If they don't like you, they don't even care what you're saying. it's instant skip, and you can't sit with us mentality. You know, this is ours. You can't sit with us. You know, like we don't really make yourself accessible. Like I feel like I could have definitely applied that knowledge, that advice better as of recently, but that is definitely something that sticks with me as to this day. So yeah.
And you know, like as we said, you know, like you've worked on like Big Chopper with like King Louie, and then like also you had like another song with him too, and then also I found out that you know the You Ain't Outside remix had like Bruno Mali Kid, like Florida rapper. So how did you manage to like link with those two? And
Bruno Mali was all gaff. King Louie, I got a homie named Brad Doe from Chicago. That's my dog. Shout out Brad Doe. This is like my brother. He was really close with Louie, so Louie was you know what's crazy? Like I'm a really big King Louie fan from like when he was really spitting like Till I Meet Selena, all types of cool ass shit. So I'm like, whatever, it would be cool if I see that nigga, like it'll just be cool. And then I seen him in the studio. I was in Remix Chicago. I don't know if you knew there's a remix project in Chicago, so they have a whole studio out there. So I was out there, and then I see King Louie. I was like, shit, we should work. Like, you know, let's work. Like, you know. So from there we got it popping. Like he flows a lot like me. Like he's building in the studio type shit. So from there we did Trap Movement, which is a crazy record. From Trap Movement we did Big Chopper like a long time later too. It wasn't even like right away, you know. So shout out King Louie, man. Oh, we have Bruno Mali. We ended up going to Little Haiti. Gav linked it up, but he's cool as shit. Like we was out there, like you know, they have a different way of living, and it's really cool to see when you go over there and experience a different way of living with somebody.
Yeah. And I noticed like a lot with Louie that he shows like Toronto like the most love like in the city. You know, I think he's like the only Chicago rapper that has ever showed like Toronto love. Like he worked with like Jesse Reyes. He worked with this other like Toronto rapper, like from Jane Finch, like back then, and like, you know, he's been like down performing at.
Yeah, he's dope. I mean, he took a step a lot of people never took. But I realized like he was ahead of his time. He's like what he was doing with his career. A lot of people have just started to do, you know. So, and he's like the foundation. Like some people have to make certain moves for other people to even want to make certain moves, you know. So maybe he never got as much recognition as he should, but he still got recognition from me at least. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no doubt. And like, what were like some advices or lessons that you've learned like from those two, like with Louie and Bruno Mali Kid, that you also
honestly? Well, Louie is just like he's a living, breathing example of don't lack. He's been shot a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? So, it's kind of just like no matter what you're doing, it could go down. You know what I'm saying? Bruno Mali showed me like a different way of their gangsters different. Like they're made niggas. Where if you're a made nigga, you don't really gotta do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you've done enough. Like you're doing this to provide for the community. Like you know what I'm saying? But you still out here, so people protect you and like you know what I'm saying. People give like you're not really in the limelight for the police or for the activity of the hood or whatever the case may be, right? So I thought that aspect was pretty cool. You know, a lot of people. I feel like we live in a place where everybody wants you to do everything. You're supposed to be riding for your homies, trapping, making music, dodging, like, and stay out. You're supposed to be on the road too, you know, it's just a lot, like. So, they definitely taught me those things.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, like in that sense too. And I know, like with those two, like those were the only people that you've worked with, like at the time too, like just with music then. But like I remember that I think on a live that you wanted to work with like Taylor Swift as well.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. And also, like, which artists like that you haven't like worked with before would you like to collaborate with now?
I'm trying to do some international shit. Like Shakira would be cool. Like Shawn Mendes, it would be dope as hell. Like I don't know, like an Erykah Badu track. You know what I'm saying? Like rap is cool to me, but like I always like groovy shit. I always like shit that kind of takes you somewhere. Like hold a meds when you're listening to the type of music, you know what I'm saying? Like girls can listen to it. It's not just a specific type of record. I always like to go broader with what I try to create. So you know, like, imagine we brought Taylor Swift to the hood. Like that'd be crazy for like that's like it changes the dynamic so much. Like people would want to come and see what's up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not so grudgy anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're still hood niggas. But besides that, I love the way those people make music. I love that they're themselves. Sometimes I don't feel like I have like an option. I have to make a certain type of music, or people aren't gonna hear it. You know?
Yeah, nah, like, I think, like, you know, like, crossing over to, like, different genres is, like, very interesting, too, and a lot of people are trying their best to do that, too, like, it's like watching this interview back then with Dirty Glove Bastard with this one artist that, you know, calls himself, like, a pop artist, but then people would assume, like, he's a rapper and all that, so I guess, like, even, like, transitioning, like, is that, like, the key way to getting, like, success?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, you definitely, you start at one place, but, like, you should definitely see what's going on in other places, like universal music, right? That's the goal.
No doubt. And, you know, like, right now, like, I think, like, last year, it was, like, kind of, like, a big thing for Toronto music so far with academics, like, being, like, on the live streams and all that, you know, interviewing people, and, like, now with these, like, Toronto, like, live streams, like, going on. So with the whole, like, live stream with academics, with Toronto rappers, and, like, the Clubhouse, like, sessions, do you think they're a good step in shedding the light in the...
I feel like, yeah, it was a good step. It was definitely a good step. The choices made by the artists that were representing the city could have been better. They could have conducted themselves in a manner in which we would continue to do that. Now it's becoming a place where nobody really wants to do that anymore. Academics tried, and then it became this thing. Like, it was, I don't feel, my personal opinion, of course, but I don't feel like that was his intention, you know? I feel like he had something bigger planned, and it never got to see its fruition because of the behavior of everybody, really, not one specific party. Everybody was just kind of like really childish about it. And
I definitely know what you mean.
yeah, you know what I mean, right? Like,
yeah. I do feel like there could have been, like, other people that could have had, like, a better representation for Toronto, like, that would have been, like, on academics, like, live stream. Like, I think, like, maybe, like, Jazz Cartier, or, like, even, like, you know, the 878 crew, and then, you know, even, like, some, like,
Division.
Yeah, the conscious, like, rappers too, like Just John.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
A lot of them could have been on that, you know.
it was just a lot of like hood rappers, which is, I don't even have a problem with hood rappers. It's just represent the whole city better as a whole. Like, it's not just about you when you're stepping on those platforms, you know?
Yeah, and I think, you know, like, even, like, Push the Wall, like, they did, like, a good job doing that too. Like, I know you've done, like...
Yeah, I did a shout out Push the Wall. Push the Wall's dope.
So I feel like if we have, like, something more like Push the Wall, like, coming back too, and, like, even, you know, even, like, other brands that would have done that, like, that could be, like, a big step, you know, in, like, creating, like, a light for, like, like, Toronto rappers, and, like, even artists that can only sing.
A lot, yeah, but it's once you decide that you're urbanized street rapper, it's kind of hard to show substance now. You don't really get to have substance now. It's kind of just like this or nothing, you know? And anything else you do is like, what is this shit? You know what I'm saying? It's like garbage. Like, what is this guy doing, bro? Go back to the trenches. You know? It's just like, you're kind of stuck. But I refuse for that to happen to me. And I don't care how anybody sees me, to be honest. Like, I don't care if I lose all my friends. I'm going to be who I want to be, and that's just it.
Yeah, man. And, like, I know, like, you have, like, an EP coming up called, like, Interstellar and all
Interstellar,
that.
yes, sir.
And then, like, I found it out, like, it has, like, a Maxo cream feature. So tell me more about that, and do you know when we can expect it?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was trying to have all the videos shot before I released it. I was even supposed to shoot a video tomorrow, but I gotta push it back. I don't like to rush. I'm not rushing anything anymore, or make like settling. So the Maxwell cream feature is crazy. It's crazy. Shout out Maxwell. He's the fucking goat. All right, let me put this shit back on. Yeah, shout out Maxwell Cream. He's the goat. Honestly, I was just thinking, like, who could we put on this tape? Like, who's gonna fit? Like, Interstellar, I feel like it's a very soulful type of tape. Like, it gives me almost like what YTD vibe, but like a more up to date rendition. It's very wide ranged, but it's very rappy as well. Like what I'm saying and shit. When could we expect that shit? I have no clue. I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously, in the near future. Right now, I have 3 more videos to shoot. So if we can shoot those videos two in a month, and then 1 in the next month, I'll be done in 2 months. But if not, then it might be 3 months. You know what I'm saying? Like, realistically, I'm just trying to make sure that I produce quality work.
And for the fans expecting, you know, like hopefully you can wait on that too. Like maybe if there's like a pre-save that comes by, like, you know, don't hesitate to click on that soon, you know. So
yo, listen, bro, fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the people's champ. I really try to do music, not just rap, R&B, pop, electric. Like I'm trying to do music. You feel me? So, like, I feel like even like the boy makes any song he wants. He has Latin music. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it just sounds crazy for anybody even to think about Latin music. That's not him. But that's why is that? You know what I'm saying? Like why nobody's inspired. Cholo Cash makes Latin music. Shout out Cholo Cash. I'm not gonna be a dick. But like there's not a lot of people that are crossing over or doing other things. Like it's like why though? You know?
And what's next for Pilla B? And do you have any like final words you'd like to say for any creative or any person out there pursuing their dreams?
What's next for me? More music, try to be consistent. I'm gonna do a whole States run. More money, more good times, you know what I'm saying? Prosperity, peace, wholeness, you know what I'm saying? Anything I need to say, yo, listen, just be yourself. That is the most important thing I feel in my heart. Be true to yourself. It doesn't matter. Friends come and go. Everybody that's coming with you is not going with you. So if it ain't your family, don't even trip, bro. Either they'll come back or they were never supposed to be there in the first place. Pilla B on every social media network you could possibly imagine. I don't do Snapchat anymore, but I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and all that, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube and shit. So like, yeah, just fuck with me. I love you guys so much.